In the dim glow of an autumn dusk, Emma stood before the dispassionate eyes of John, her scars glistening like warriors' medals under the porch light. Rejected for the very marks that told tales of resilience, she turned away heartbroken, unaware that behind her, a quiet blacksmith named William had already seen her untold beauty. But what happened next will shock even those who thought they'd seen everything. But first, let's go back to the beginning. Emma sat by the train window, her eyes tracing the contours of a landscape she yearned to call home. This new world, cloaked in the golden hues of autumn, unfurled before her like a tapestry of promise and potential. Each tree, dressed in fiery reds and burnt oranges, stood as a sentinel along the endless horizon, marking the threshold of a life she could scarcely dare to envision. In the rhythmic chug of the locomotive and the comforting rattle of wheels against tracks, she found a grounding rhythm, a steady heartbeat that synced with the pulse of her desires. Beneath her calm exterior lay a fervent determination, seated in the soil of a past fraught with tumult and loss. Her childhood had woven a tapestry starkly different from this vision of rolling fields and open skies, a landscape marked by shadows of conflict and the bitter bite of betrayal. Each scar that lined her skin was a testament to battles fought, some in the distant fields of war, others within the confines of her own heart. Her fingers brushed against the worn leather satchel beside her, a tangible connection to the sparse tokens of her past, yet she felt unburdened, ready to release the grief that they symbolized. Emma's journey was not solely measured in miles traveled across these vast plains, but in the emotional territory she aimed to conquer. The letter she clutched bore the seal of John Hollingsworth, a name that conjured visions of hearth and home, of laughter echoing within the sturdy walls of farmhouse simplicity. His words, penned in a flowing script that bespoke refinement and assurance, had struck a chord deep within her. They spoke not of luxury or superficial charm, but of shared dreams and the comfort found in companionship. It was an offer laced with possibility, a life unfettered by judgments or reminders of past burdens. Her thoughts drifted, imagining John not merely as a benefactor of new beginnings, but as a partner who might see beyond the surface of her battle-worn guise. What might he think of her? Would her story, etched in the hard-earned creases of her being, invite inquisition or dismissal? Her heart longed for understanding, for a gaze that would linger not on the tapestry of her scars, but on the strength and grace with which she bore them. As the train lurched forward, embracing the expanse ahead, Emma found solace in the cadence of her breath, matching the beat of her aspirations. She imagined stepping into a world where her past conquests were but a prelude to triumphs yet to come, a place where her warrior spirit, once forged in the crucible of adversity, could find rest and renewal in the gentle embrace of acceptance. She knew not what awaited her beyond the horizon, only that she carried within her the seeds of a new life, nurtured by the hope of love and belonging on the far edge of opportunity. Upon her arrival in the small frontier town, Emma's heart was a mixture of hope and apprehension. The journey had been long and arduous, filled with the rattling wheels of the wagon and the endless expanse of prairie as her only companions. As she stepped off onto the dusty main street, the late afternoon sun bathing everything in a harsh light, she clutched the well-worn letters from John, a man she hoped would see beyond the surface, beyond the pain etched into her skin. John awaited her with an impassive expression that quickly turned into one of disappointment. His eyes swept over her, lingering for a moment on the scars that peeked from beneath the collar of her dress, remnants of a life that spoke of battles hard won and losses deeply felt. "Too marked and too wild," he muttered dismissively, averting his gaze as though her presence was an affront to his vision of a perfect bride. Such a superficial judgment cut deeper than any wound she'd faced in battle, yet Emma stood resolute, swallowing the indignity alongside the lump in her throat. The bustling town, alive with the chatter of its inhabitants, felt suddenly cold and unwelcoming. Whispers trailed behind her like ghosts as she walked, heads turning, none offering a smile or a kind word. Emma's warrior heart, so used to the heat of battle and the camaraderie of her fellow soldiers, felt the chill of solitude more acutely than the wind that cut through her threadbare shawl. As night fell, wrapping the town in a blanket of stars and silent disapproval, Emma found herself alone in a small, sparse room rented for the handful of coins she had left. The four walls seemed to close in on her, each creak of the wooden floor echoing with her isolation. It was a new kind of battlefield, one where she had no comrades, only her own shadow for company. Sitting by the small window, Emma watched the snow begin to fall, each flake a whisper of forgotten dreams, covering the town's harsh lines with a soft, deceptive beauty. Her silent tears mirrored the winter landscape outside, but her resolve remained steadfast. She knew all too well that despair was a luxury she could not afford. Reflecting on the journey that had brought her here, on the will to survive that had carried her through war, Emma steeled herself for the cold days ahead. Beneath her scars lay a heart unbroken by the world's unkindness, a spirit unyielding. She had come seeking acceptance and love, yet found only rejection and scorn. But Emma was a warrior, and her resilience would not allow her to be vanquished by the disdain of those who could not see beyond her skin. As the first light of dawn began to break, casting a hopeful glow on the snow-laden streets, she vowed to rise anew. Her story, one of courage and unyielded grace, was far from over. She would carve a place in this unforgiving world, not with the acceptance of others, but with the strength of her own heart. Emma had long learned the art of perseverance, a skill honed in the crucible of her past, each challenge a stepping stone to resilience. As she settled into the small, tightly knit village, her presence was at first met with quiet skepticism. Yet she bore their curious glances and whispered assumptions with a quiet dignity drawn from the battlefields of personal struggle. Emma knew the worth of her abilities, cultivated not through privilege or ease, but through hardship and determination. So it was that she began to find grounding where she had felt only turbulence before. Her daily routine was unembellished, yet rewarding. Each morning, she rose with the sun, her modest dwelling alight with the dawn light's embrace. With purpose, she set to work. Sewing came naturally to her. It was a skill her mother had taught with patient hands and tender words when Emma was young. With each stitch, she wove not just fabric, but her narrative, a tapestry of silent strength, a reclamation of her story. Villagers soon learned that if they wanted a garment made with care and diligence, Emma was the one to seek. Baking, too, became a part of her healing ritual, the kitchen a sanctuary where memories softened in the warm glow of the oven. Each loaf of bread and batch of pies bore witness to her evolving story, offering sustenance not just to the body, but to the spirit. The aromas curling invitingly from her window became a testament to her renewal, drawing neighbors with promises of warmth and comfort. It was in these exchanges of bread and banter, fabric and fellowship, that William found her. The blacksmith was a man of few words but many deeds, his kindness articulated not in proclamations, but in gestures that spoke a language Emma understood all too well. He watched her in the marketplace, admiring her grace and the quiet defiance that danced in her eyes when she thought no one noticed. Their meetings happened by chance at first, shared moments at the market or the blacksmith's forge where Emma would deliver her baked offerings. A book exchange, initiated on a whim, became their silent dialogue, a prelude to deeper understanding. William offered her novels and tales of adventure that mirrored Emma's own inner journey, narratives filled with protagonists who battled elements, both external and internal. Through these books, and in the comfort of shared silences between them, William saw beyond the scars that patterned her skin like a map of resilience. To him, they were not marks of disfigurement, but of the countless battles Emma had fought and survived. Their growing friendship, founded on trust and empathy, was a testament to the invisible strength that belied Emma's fragile appearance. Where the village saw a woman marked by her past, William saw a testament to survival, a tapestry of human fortitude interwoven with vulnerability. And so, as the days unfolded into one another, a bond formed, subtle yet profound, a connection that defied the ordinary, weaving them together with threads of shared quietude and mutual respect. In the heart of the village, where lives crossed in the cobbled square with well-trodden familiarity, a transformation was quietly taking place. The townspeople, previously enshrouded in their own concerns and prejudices, began to see Emma in a light refracted through William's gaze. No longer was she the mysterious stranger from a distant place, dismissed and overlooked due to the scars she bore. Those marks, once presumed to be her shame, had become symbols of her intrepid spirit, stitched into stories that testified to her resilience and depth. On a day that bore the softness of a new spring, nature itself seemed to conspire with fate. Blossoms burst forth in jubilant display across the apple orchard, their fragrance a gentle reminder of rebirth and potential. It was beneath this canopy of hope that William chose to alter the unspoken narrative of Emma's life. Gathered among the villagers who lingered with the curiosity that a festival might inspire, William's voice, steady, resonant, and unequivocally sincere, broke through the chatter and drew their collective breath. "Emma," he began, his voice carrying the weight of 100 unspoken truths. The crowd stilled, as if the very earth beneath them had paused to listen. "It is not just your hands that have labored with kindness, nor the warmth that your presence has brought into our lives. It is your heart, resilient and true, that I admire above all." His words, spoken with the conviction of genuine affection, were as enduring as the rocks in the brook that had carved pathways over time. Emma, who had long learned to fortify her heart against the cold of rejection, felt the fortress begin to melt away, replaced by an unfamiliar warmth. She met his gaze with eyes that reflected the clarity of starlight, revealing a profound gratitude tinged with disbelief. Their shared history, albeit brief, had grown roots deep enough to support the weight of entire lifetimes. And there, with gentleness, he traced the length of her scars, each one a testament to battles fought and survived. "These are badges of honor," he declared, his voice reaching more than just her ears. It was a proclamation to the village, an invitation to see beauty where they had not before looked, and to acknowledge bravery where they had seen only difference. As William confessed his love amidst the symphony of birdsong and breeze, the air vibrated with the promise of renewal. The villagers, witnesses to this singular moment, felt a shift within themselves. Emma's acceptance became a mirror through which they could reevaluate their values, challenging the notion that beauty was only skin deep, and urging them to seek the soul of things. Standing there, Emma realized her journey from the shadow of exclusion to the embrace of belonging was complete. William, with steadfast presence, had not only chosen her, but had chosen to cherish the battles she had won and the woman she had become. Their union symbolized not only love, but justice, even compassion, echoing through the village like the first notes of a long-awaited spring. With William at her side, Emma faced her future not merely with hope, but with the unyielding certainty that she was loved, beyond scars, beyond past, beyond measure,